Hey, what's going on? Thanks for joining again. Tonight we got another episode here with the Card Father. No, sorry, Card Professor. So we're gonna get started here in a second. All right, all right. There he is. Hey, the Card
There
Professor.
you go. I got this light on. This light is charged now.
Nice. Hey, if you happen to watch the replay, I actually called you the Card Father. So I just want to let you. I just want to apologize. I called you that by accident.
Oh, professors. I am a new father, so but our
Hey,
father, yeah, he's over
so
at
it kind of
Burbank.
works. It kind of works. How's it going, man? Thanks for joining.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm very grateful to be here.
Hey, no problem. All right, so really quick, we let's see who's in the chat. We got Chucky. That's Pops. Thanks for joining us,
Top
Pops.
Pops, I see you. Well, I mean, I
Um,
see you that you're commenting. I never see you on camera, like in the
oh,
vlogs. Yeah, what's
I
up, Pop?
see.
And that's cool. It's not like, hey, Pop's got to be there. I'm just saying I see you, and thanks for the love, Pop.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, you gotta watch like all the videos because he'll cameo here and there, very quickly. You know what I'm saying? Hey, my mom is in the chat. Thanks for joining.
Hey, moms.
Um, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. So we're gonna get started here in a minute. Um, and so let's just get started now. Why wait, right? So let's go ahead and start off with a little bit of playoff basketball, just kind of some things that we're seeing and how that might translate into maybe some plays with cards, right? Um, and so let's just start. First of all, what do you think about the Boston, how Boston took out the Nets? I mean, were you surprised by that series?
I mean, after watching a few games, my answer is no. But I mean, leading into it, I was like, oh, okay, well, Brooklyn's got the players, so that they're gonna be fine. But after watching like a few games and the uninspired, well, maybe that's a strong statement. I just felt like Boston wanted it more, and that
Yeah.
in that you know uh Brooklyn wanted it less. I kind of That's just kind of how I felt like, and I was gonna say uninspired, but yeah, I don't need to use that word. So Boston was hungrier,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I feel like Brooklyn they were like defeated,
Hmm.
and so
Yeah, I think
yeah,
I
go
think
ahead.
it's no, I think the other thing that I thought was just, I mean, I know a lot of people have talked about it too, but like just the whole Ben Simmons thing, like how he kept on kind of, I think he was like kind of like alluding like he was going to play or be available, and it just never happened. I'm just like, wow, I can't believe, how did that guy get away with just sitting out the whole season? But I don't know. I don't know all the details of what was going on there. I kind of was looking forward to seeing him play, for them to see, okay, how is that going to impact their team? How is that going to change their dynamic? Will that help them to be better? That type of stuff. So that, in a sense, I would say that was a little disappointing. But anyways, we'll see what happens next year.
Yeah, and I think in terms of like the hobby
Yeah.
of Durant, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons, Durant is still a hobby favorite, and um, I feel like Durant's always going to have a desirable like collectability across non-Durant collectors. So
Yeah.
for Kyrie, I know there's Kyrie specific collectors like JD the collector. I know he's
Yeah. I know he's a big Kyrie fan.
and but they're uncommon. Just they're not too many that are like. Or let me say that. Let me start that over. There are the hardcore Kyrie collectors, and then for the average collector, they're not quite looking to buy Kyrie like they are looking to buy Durant. And then the hobby is also like, yeah, and then it drops even further for someone like Ben Simmons, and I really wish him well. I mean, he's getting paid a pretty penny, but I really wish him well. I mean, his whole confidence was shot in the playoffs, like last year, where he passed up a layup,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he gets all this heat for it. So, I mean, he's got a lot of talent, and hope that he can bring that back onto the floor, and that's actually really just kind of good for the game as a whole.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Yeah, definitely agree with that. I think, okay, so let's switch it up a little bit. I know you're a Warriors fan. So I know they're doing well. They're up 3-1 in their series. Jordan Poole has been playing really well. I did a video. I talked a little bit about him and some other players, just their card values. Talked about Trey, talked about Luka, talked about Jordan Poole, and just looked at their stats. But what do you think? What do you think? How does Jordan Poole? How do you think he's going to turn out? Would you say that the way he's playing now, he's somebody that people are going after, or already have been going after? And what do you think?
Yeah, so I'm gonna start back in March, where Curry got injured from it was a bang bang play with Marcus Smart, and he was out for a few weeks. So, well, guess what time it is? It's time for a pool party, and sure enough,
Right.
he steps up, and everyone locally been knowing about Poole. Actually, even at the beginning of the season, Poole was like a really hot name because Clay was injured, and Poole, I mean, his Prism Silvers got up to like, I don't know, $400 something. And then in March, they started heating back up again because, well, I mean, Curry was out, and the Warriors were still, I mean, they had gone on a losing streak. So good, he's got the ball in his hand, and he has that. Now, once the playoffs come, and then now everyone's there, right? Now it's almost a full squad without Wiseman, but it's still the 3G, the three guards, right? And then the PTSD, the Poole, Thompson, Steph, and Dre. So I guess that's the new death lineup, and Poole was like kicking butt in it.
Right.
And so was Curry and Clay. Like all three of them are eating. But when I mean eating, they're like making shots or taking and making shots, and it's like really good team play. So Poole will say it. He's like, he can't take the credit for individual success. And it's team effort. Like, let me go back to KD real quick. KD was saying, "Oh, it's really hard getting double, triple teamed," and a lot of local Warriors fans here are like, "Well, KD, Steph was getting double and triple teamed, so that's why KD was getting open looks." So the same argument is kind of being made right now in the playoffs, that Steph's getting double, triple teamed.
Right.
But in March, Steph was injured and Poole was tearing it up. So, anyways, the 3G, they're doing strong. You can't say anything until the win is there. When there's a win, and when the series is over, that's when the series is over. So, in terms of Poole, like pool party is big time out here, and his prices have gone wild. And his Prism Silver PSA 10 got up to like 900. Like, wow. Wow. That's wow. And then they just keep exchanging, at a card show, they keep exchanging, and then come back the next week and they keep exchanging again. So Poole is definitely the hottest name.
What do you mean by keep exchanging?
Okay, so let's say me and Cdub, we go to Diamond 9. There you go. In was it La Plencia? Okay, let's say we go there one weekend, and the next weekend we go to the Premiere.
Right.
Okay, and then the weekend after we go to Cardstock in LA proper, and the weekend after we go to LA proper. So if cards are just going to kind of make their way around different collectors.
Okay, got it.
Until they're like sold off to someone else. So anyways, pools are getting moved around here, and it's hot, and he cooled off last game, and so did his cards.
Got it. So we do have a question in the chat, so I'm going to put this on the screen. Let's see if I can find it here. So it says, Professor, what current basketball player do you feel is the most sought out and valuable? value could be a monetary form or just a wanted collectible?
Oh yeah, it's got to be Jordan Poole right now. And I watch like the top 5 cards going up, and it's like Jordan Poole at number 1 or
Hmm.
Jordan Poole at number 2. So now that's hot. Like he's on a heater right now. And I forgot someone posted this on their Instagram that if you're buying Jordan Poole, be very, very, very careful. If you're buying Jordan Poole right now, be very, very, very careful. So I would say he's the most sought after. Now, in terms of most valuable in monetary form or wanted collectible, I mean, the most valuable cards of a current basketball player is just going to be like, it's got to be Curry and LeBron because those are the most expensive. But you know, if they're still playing right now, then Curry's rookies are the most expensive. You know, like th. Hey, we'll get to the that preseason hype because I mean he had big preseason hype. Yeah, he'll probably have big preseason hype coming next one. But anyways, back to the current basketball player you feel is the most sought after right now is Poole because he's so hot. Most valuable in terms of money is got to be Curry, and Curry's also just like everybody likes to collect Curry. Everybody likes to collect LeBron. Almost everybody likes to collect KD. You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Curry, LeBron, modern GOATs, everyone wants to collect them.
Yeah. Well, for me, you know, I'm a Kobe guy, so I just got to bring his name in there just because. Just
Not
in case
current. Rest in peace.
Yeah, definitely. So earlier you said be careful if you're buying Poole cards. Now, why is that? Is it just because this could be temporary, or what's the main reason?
Yeah,
What's
that's
the
it.
reason behind it? Just
That's exactly it. That's what that's what they're alluding to. And I mean, I've fallen into this trap. Like I bought Luca, Prism base 10, pop 17,000. I bought that a $2,000 card, yeah. And then I lost a lot of money on it. So I bought it like right before he nailed the game winner against the Clippers in the bubble. So I guess I could have sold it then, but it hadn't come in. Yeah.
Got it. That's the other thing about getting cards graded. Timing is a really important thing, right? And that
No, I bought it graded.
Oh, you bought it graded.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, my bad. So I made an assumption that like you sent it in and you're waiting for it to come back from PSA. So, which I know that that is a legit thing that happens where people will submit a card and, you know, based on when it's being graded and not shipped back to the person, that value can go up or down, you know, within a matter of, you know, weeks or months.
Yeah. So if the Warriors get knocked out in 7 games in this first round, then Poole's value is going to come crashing down. And so that's the other part about being careful, or you get injured or things like that. But on the flip side, he could continue on this heater. Like I know people who sold that Prism Silver at $500, and then it got up to 900. So
okay, so what about we're talking about the most sought after guy right now. What about Tatum? Where do you think he rates? Because I mean,
I would put him at number 2 because of he swept. It was like the changing of the guards, or in this case forwards, where KD is passing. Like the torch was passed from KD to Tatum. Now only time will tell, but that's kind of like it was like when Kobe passed Jordan, or Jordan was he was getting old, and then it was Kobe's time. So that's kind of what that felt like, right?
Yeah.
That what the sweep, it was like a stern sweep, right? It wasn't like, barely squeak out a win in every single game. Like a couple of them were blowouts, if I'm correct. But I mean, it's just like, okay, it's a sweep. It's not even gentleman's sweep. Gentleman's sweep is 4-1, but this is a 4-0. So it's just like, here's a passing of the torch. And Tatum's cards he's playing lights out, and so are his card values.
Yeah. So what else do we want to talk about? So so we do want to talk about a little bit about what about that question came up about or someone made a comment about THT. Elliot, my boy Elliot, made a comment about THT in the preseason last year, how there was some hype there. People were buying his cards. How similar do you think preseason is different than hype in the regular season or playoffs, or what do you think?
So hype can happen pretty much for not anything, but almost not even almost. There's a lot of things that can cause hype. So expectations, right? Anticipation and excitement. And those are preseason type of things.
Right.
Signing a contract, which is what happened with Taylor Horton Tucker last offseason. He signed a contract, 3-year, 39 mil or 40 mil. I forget that number, but he had signed a contract. I mean, he went to summer league, and and there are people that are like, a little bit older than him, and he's like coming into summer league, sitting courtside at summer league. You know what I mean? When he should have been playing. I guess he shouldn't have been playing, but anyways. So signing a contract can bring hype. Performance can bring hype.
Right.
And then also continued performance can bring hype. So what was it in the preseason? Like someone had a monster preseason and they got like all this hype. I know that's what happened with Bowl in the preseason bubble. You got a lot of hype. I'm just trying to think, who was it? Austin Reeves, who like had a big preseason game, something like that. I just can't remember. But the preseason game, you need hype based on one like big game, even though it's preseason. Is wild to me. But the success and the continued success, I'm thinking of like Jordan Poole, right? Jordan Poole is tearing it up and keeps tearing it up. Whereas someone like Clay or Curry, they tear it up, but they keep tearing up. Well, they're already expected to. Whereas Poole wasn't quite expected to.
Right. True. So, so let's switch topics just a little bit. So, what about? So let's go. Let's talk about football for a little bit. We're in the off season. Would you say that there are certain plays or plays that people are trying to make since we are in the off season in football? And if so, what might those be?
So in football, people know about off. I mean, I would say a lot of savvy collectors know about off season. That off season is a good time to buy because there aren't eyes on the market. We're not watching football games every Sunday or even Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the news isn't quite there about like, is so and so going to play? What can we expect? There's no fantasy going on. Check. Now the draft is going to happen pretty soon, and there's always a little bit of excitement leading into the draft, obviously, because it's like, okay, who are the Raiders going to draft? Who are the Rams going to draft? I'm a Niner guy. Who are the Niners going to draft? Or who else made a big offseason? Miami. Oh, they just got Tyreek Hill, but who else are they going to? So they have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Who else are they going to draft to support the team? Things. These questions build the excitement. And that excitement builds hype. Okay. So with that said, there is a little bit of excitement around the draft, and that is reflected in the card market. So when I've been at shows, the hottest name in football has been Justin Herbert. And it's crazy because Justin Herbert didn't even make the playoffs. Remember? He said, I've never wanted for a tie more. Like, if there was a tie against the Vegas Raiders, then Herbert would have made it in. Yeah. Okay. So despite him not making the playoffs, he's the hottest. Yeah. And then the second hottest is like between Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. And it just kind of depends on the player, or the person. Like, I feel it's close to 50-50. Like, if like, I don't know, if 100 people ask for Herbert, then maybe 30 asked for Burrow and 30 asked for Josh Allen. So it's kind of like a 1-to-1 ratio for those two guys. So those are the three guys that I found the most asked about at shows over the last couple months, namely April and March.
Right.
And Burrow went to the Super Bowl. but Herbert was a hotter like commodity. People wanted Herbert more,
Mm,
which is that's kind of trippy to me, but not really, because Herbert put the league on notice, right?
yeah.
I mean, he had a monster rookie year, but he followed it up with another great year.
Right. So even with Burrow, I know he had that crazy injury. I think it was his rookie year, right? Now I wonder, and I wasn't really getting into cards. I wasn't really heavily into it. I'm sure his values went down or took a hit when that injury happened, and I'm assuming they got better once he came back and recovered well from the injury. Um, I don't know if you remember if you were in it at all at that time, or
I was.
if that was accurate or not. That's just a guess on my part.
Yeah. I'm also going to say something along the lines of an educated guess, where, I mean, he had so much hype coming out of college and the number one overall pick, right? So oftentimes number one overall picks, especially QBs, are going to be really, really hyped up, unless like the draft class isn't strong. So he had a lot of hype, and then he got injured, but I mean, he really exceeded expectations. Like, no one expected them to. Well, they knew that the offensive line wasn't good, or a lot of people knew the offensive line wasn't good, and despite that, took him to the playoffs. And despite that, took him to the Super Bowl. So I think that first milestone of making the playoffs, that was like a big deal for, like, I guess, his hobby values. And then take it even further, and you beat the mighty Kansas City Chiefs behind Patrick Mahomes. Then that takes it even further. So I would say those three. I mean, Mahomes is always kind of hot. Mahomes, he's not a modern GOAT yet, but he's like always going to be in contention for a Super Bowl. So he's always going to have that type of desire. And then I would say those are the four most common names. Oh, and then locally, I mean, Deebo Samuel. This was before he requested a trade. But Deebo Samuel is really big locally, and everyone wants Deebo. So I would say over the last couple months, those five names at local shows. There's going to be different regionally, yeah. That in LA you probably get a lot more Cooper Kupp, and people want Matt Stafford more, yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like the general public and then the local faves.
Right. Now, do you speaking of local or traveling, do you travel a lot to different shows, or or do you usually stay local? I know you came down to LA recently. I know you're from the Bay, but have you been outside of anywhere else? For different card shows or anything like that?
I have, and I do enjoy going to card shows and spending hours at the card shows and talking to dealers and looking at their stuff, and just, what's the local scene like, and what do people like, and just hearing about things. So where have I gone? I've gone to Hawaii a few times, and I've gone to
Nice.
shows out there on the island of Oahu. Shout out to all my Hawaii fam. Been to Southern California, namely the greater Los Angeles area. I've
Right.
been to Las Vegas. I went to the National last year, and there's a few. We have a newborn, so I don't want to like. If my wife wants to travel, then we're gonna go. So she's going back to work on Monday, this coming Monday.
So it's all you, huh?
No, I mean, I'm very lucky. We have support, but for us, the traveling is gonna be more limited now. I mean, I want to go to Del Mar this weekend, but it's wasn't in the cards. Del Mar's in San Diego. It's a big show, like 400 plus tables, and I want to go to Dallas. I want to go to Culture Collision. Shout out Prism God. I want to go to Tampa. I want to go to the New York shows. Shout out New York City Sports Cards, my man Craig. Come on, Craig. So there's a lot of shows I want to go to.
Yeah.
Just not in the cards yet.
Right. I see what you did there. Not in the cards.
Yet.
Got it. Yeah. So Yeah, I know we talked about this before. I went to National last year. This year, I'm not sure if I'm going to go to it, but I am most likely going to. You're not? Yeah, I definitely want to go check out that Burbank show that they're going to
Ooh,
have
I
it.
want to go to that one too, but yeah, I'm not sure if that'll be in the cards.
You got to check to see if it's in the cards, man. Hopefully, it'll be in the.
Oh yeah, and I want to go to. There's another big Vegas show in October, so uh, I'd like to go to that one too. You know, we'll just see how things go.
I haven't been to any of the shows in Vegas, and I know that there's usually Dallas shows like every 3 months or something like that.
They're
I
big.
haven't been to that one yet either. But what were the shows like in Vegas? Were they large, medium? I mean, small? Can you share anything about that?
Yeah, I went to a really small show, and I think it's hosted by Power Play. They rotate between the mall that their local card stores at and a casino. So they wrote like one time it's at the mall, another time it's the casino, another time it's the mall, another time it's at the casino. So this one I went to it was at a casino like on the southeast side of Vegas. So it was cool. It was good to meet some people that I still like keep in touch with now.
Yeah.
So it was a smaller show, maybe like 20 tables. But I mean, I legit spent all day there, and because it was small and it was 20 tables, I just went through everybody's dollar boxes. So
Nice.
plus, I'm a different collector now than I was then. So I might do something different. You know, if I'm there all day and I don't have a table, meaning I'm not a vendor,
Yeah.
then I'm just gonna go through everyone's boxes.
So, all right. So, just a different question for you. What's your, I know we talked about this when we first talked. I think this is our third time, by the way, I think connecting. So episode 3, with the Card Professor. So I know we talked about this before. I asked you, how would you define yourself? Are you a collector? Are you a flipper, investor? And you talked about that, but, and you said at different times you can define yourself at any one of those, right? And like it'll be a different percentage. But I think last time, I think you said that you're more of a majority of the percentage was a flipper. So, what do you enjoy the most about flipping? Like, is it just making good deals? Maybe you tracked a deal for a while and it came through, or, just what would you share on that?
I like the thrill of a card going up. And
Nice.
the risk is always the card's going to go down. Like I bought some Fernando Tatis Jr. and then he got injured. I was like, and so I lost some money on that, but I did okay with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I did okay with Shohei Ohtani. So those are things where I'm like, oh, okay, it's a flip, and it was good that it went up. And then there's other ones where I'm just like, so that's always the risk with short-term flipping. So that's the main thing. And then with these proceeds, they go into bigger cards. When I mean bigger, I mean larger value cards. And those larger value cards, I'm like some holy grails. So hopefully by our next episode, I will show you the holy grail I just bought.
All right, sounds good. All right, so you mentioned the word risk, right? When it comes to investing, or maybe you're hoping that a card goes up, right? But there's always some risk there. What would you say is one of the biggest lessons you've learned by when it comes to either flipping or investing? Whatever comes to your mind. What's one of the biggest lessons that you've learned? And I know that you talk a lot about. You share different lessons like on your Instagram page. But anyways, if you can go ahead and start there and we can continue the chat on that.
So I got my 2 biggest lessons that I think about. So number 1 is fear of missing out, or FOMO. Thanks, Pops. Show you the holy grail. So FOMO, fear of missing out, is just like, when everyone's a card's really hot and you're like, oh, I gotta get it. Oh,
right.
Everyone's posting about it. Oh my god, I gotta get this card. This card's so cool. Like, oh my goodness, Jordan Poole, I gotta get that Jordan Poole auto. And it's an on card. Oh my god, it keeps going up and up, and I gotta get. Okay, so that's FOMO, right? And it's
Right.
going to get you. So finding ways to first acknowledge that you have the FOMO,
Right.
and then two, making sure that you navigate those thoughts and emotions. People are like, oh, you don't invest with emotions. Like, if we're human beings, we're gonna have emotions. So dirty little hamster. That's what, hey, post that comment. So so I mean, for you to navigate those thoughts and emotions so that you don't buy into FOMO. And
Okay.
I'll
So,
tell you what, like,
oh, go ahead.
I see these Jordan Poole cards show up. I'm like, I want to buy it. I want to buy it. Oh, I want to buy it. I sold all my Jordan Poole cards. I just need one more. I just need one more. Just one more. No, don't. Okay. That's the FOMO. So that's number one.
Right. Right.
Just finding a way through FOMO. The second one, and this lesson applies strictly to me. I'm not saying, I mean, it probably applies to other people too, but I'm not saying this.
Possible.
Oh, I can guarantee, but I'm not. I'm not going to say a blanket statement. So
Yeah.
I cannot predict performance.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that right now, and I'm going to say that confidently, and I'm going to say it proudly, because I tried to predict performance in the past, and I got burned. Yeah, burned. I thought the Lakers were going to make a deep run last year, so I bought some nice Anthony Davis. Yeah. And like this year, he got injured at an untimely time.
Right.
So, with that said, I'm not even going to try to predict performance. Now, when I bought Jordan Poole with the intention to flip, I was trying to predict performance, and I got lucky there. Whereas in other times, I didn't. So I'm not. Yeah, instead of me saying I can't predict performance, I will now say that I will. My lesson is I am less confident in predicting performance. So that if I am buying to invest based on performance, I'm going in knowing that I'm going to be very risky. Whereas before I was like, yeah, let's get this. Yeah, last year Utah was a top seed. And so I was like, oh, let me buy the top player on the top team. So I bought Donovan Mitchell, and I lost big on that. I was like, oh, the Lakers are going to make another run. They're going to make another deep run, just like the last year. And I bought Anthony Davis pretty big, and I ate dirt on that.
Right.
And so for me, it's less about tempering my expectations. Well, I wouldn't call it tempering expectations. I would say that I'm not confident in my ability to predict performance. And so when I do try to bet on performance, I am knowing that it's going to be very, very risky. So what that means is, I think before I was like so confident that I was going to win on these. Now I'm not as confident. And so if I lose, I'm not as devastated. And when I'm not as devastated, I'm more willing to stay in the market, and I'm more willing to engage in the market and buy cards. But when I'm devastated, I'm just like, I don't. So I would say those are the two biggest things for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, sometimes I'll see cards and I'll think, man, I really wish I can get this card, whatever it is, But yeah, I think sometimes just trying to keep a reality check, like, hey, you can't buy everything, But yeah, so that definitely makes sense. Let's see.
Well, let me flip that on you.
Yeah.
Let me flip that on you. Give me some lessons. 2 lessons, up to 2 lessons.
2 lessons that I've learned?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, why didn't you tell me you were going to ask me this question?
If it'll help, you can look away and think.
No, I think honestly, looking back, one thing that I mean, this isn't like a recent lesson. This is just looking back to um, years ago. Man, honestly, I wish after just seeing the boom of the sports card market and just getting back into it and everything that I've learned, I really wish I would have bought more Kobe cards. I wish I would have been in it back then, you know, because even for okay, for example, the Kobe card, the auto card that I got at Burbank, I I met another guy who's on Instagram, another Kobe collector, and he's like, "Hey man, that's an awesome Kobe card," and I was like, "Okay," I was like, "Thanks, man, that's cool," and he's like, "Did you see mine?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, well, I have the same card. It was the variation was a little different." And so I found it on his Instagram, checked it out. It was really similar card. The numbering was a little bit different, and it had like a little bit of a red like background on it. So I asked him about it. And I'm like, man, how much did you get? You know, how long did you have that? He's like, oh, I've had it for like 4 years or something like that. So I'm like, okay, how much, if you don't mind me asking, did you pay for it? He's like $150, you know. And I think the one that he had now, I think he's trying to sell it for about 4,000. So I think for me, um, one of my biggest lessons is that I've learned is like I wish I would have just stayed connected to the hobby because I was always, you know, I started when I was younger. Um, let's see, I think I started probably when I was like 9 or 10. My parents take me to card shop, learning about cards. But even back then, I never viewed it as a way to invest money, you know. But what I'm trying to say is at different points, I would go in and out of it. You know, you kind of get older, you're okay, you get in high school, you may not collect as much. Then you decide, oh, okay, now you know, I remember when I was like my early 20s, I was living in Vegas actually. I was like, man, I'm going to get back into cards, you know. So I started buying more cards. And that was the year that LeBron was a rookie. Um, so, anyways, I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but I think, oh, wait, hold on. My mom's giving me a correction. She says you were 10.
What's up,
Um,
moms? I see you.
yeah, keep me on track. Keep me on track here. So I think for me, just looking back, wishing that I would have stayed connected into it was, in a sense, kind of a lesson learned for me. Um,
How
Another
about something
lesson,
more recent? Because
more
I would
recent.
love to like go back in time and win the lotto. You got something more recent?
You know, I don't know. I can't really think of anything more recent because
Okay.
I
You get
think
it for next time then.
yeah. I think for me, like, I mean, I think if I was doing more investing or more of that type of thing with the hobby, then I probably would definitely have more lessons that I've learned. But, you know, I haven't really been viewing it that way for me personally as, okay, let me see if I can um, buy this card and hope the value goes up and sell it to make a profit. Like for me, I've been primarily still a collector. I've been learning a lot though. But yeah, still primarily a collector and figuring out, okay, what do I want to collect? What do I want to
Mm,
buy?
mm,
Who are the guys I want to buy? What are my goals, my short-term goals? So those are some of the things that I've been trying to think about. So
good. So let me just share an example of where I'm both a collector and an investor at the same time. All right. So this is
go for it.
Clay Thompson.
Nice.
This is silver. And then this is 2013. So this is 2014.
Nice.
This is 2015,
Nice. Nice.
2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. So all I was missing was the 2012, which is his rookie card.
Mm,
So I finally got it. Actually, I just won it today and got my 5% eBay bucks.
nice.
But so I like to collect it for the set. Like I have this for Draymond Green too.
Mm,
And so, I had a fun time collecting it. But now I got the set. I can sell it as a set.
right.
So in that sense, I was a collector, but I'm also a flipper in that sense too. So
Yeah.
you know, if I was in LA, I'd probably do the same thing for Kobe Bryant. Prism silver set. I want to shout out Lost Sailor on Instagram, who inspired me to chase the Prism silver set. I mean, he's chasing it in Curry Prism silver and PSA 10s. So
Wow.
you know, so I'm chasing them raw. So you know,
this is start somewhere.
This is an example of me being both a collector and an investor / flipper at the same time. And so, you know, if I don't sell these, I'll be happy to sit on these for life, that type of thing.
Nice.
But I would love to sell them because there's a lot of people who want these. Let me show you another thing. Wait, did I show you these spellbounds? I think I showed you this last time, yeah? It spells out the name.
I don't think you did.
Okay. So here, I got the set. There's 2 E's in this. This E is one of them. And notice that this E is different, yeah? So this is spellbound. This is elite. Does it show elite? Where's the E? There it is. There's the E right there. Okay. But then they also have parallels. So they have an orange.
Nice.
T, E, P. Okay, good. And then they also have them in blue, which I didn't finish the blue, but they have them in purple, and the purple is even more rare. These are numbered to 49.
Wow. Okay.
And so, you know, I would love to sell this as a set.
Nice. That's really cool. I'm glad you shared that.
So that's a classic example of where my collector and my investor flipper side intersect.
So on those spellbound cards, it doesn't go through the whole alphabet, does it?
Well, I mean, just the name. So they have Zion and it say Zion. One year they had Luca, so it's spelled Doncic. For Tom Brady, it spells Brady.
Okay, so it could be first or last name.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So that's cool. So that's a good example, like you said, of like, okay, this is something you're collecting, you like it, you enjoy it, but you still have like a secondary plan of maybe you'll sell it. If that doesn't work out, you're still happy with what you bought. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's I would say that's probably lesson number 3 for me is what does Ultimate Pastime say? He says, buy what you like.
Buy what you like, yeah.
And so I like that. I'd also like to flip it. And the Justin Herberts I bought, I like them. I'd also like to flip them. Now there are cards that are like for my personal collection. Let me find one here real quick. Ooh, show this Jay Rich. I scooped me up a nice Jay Rich. Where you at? So this is personal collection. Jason Richardson gold autograph numbered out of 10. Number 10.
Nice.
10 out of 10. Yeah.
10 out of 10.
So this I could probably flip this, but this is personal collection, and probably at some point I'm gonna meet a Jason Richardson collector, and we're gonna chop it up. And I'm gonna be like, hey, I got some nice Jay Rich autos at the house. You know, I'll take some pictures and show them to you, and then you know we'll connect. And like a lot of the big Kobe collectors, they all know each other, and they kind of, I feel like they only share their cards with each other. But, you know, I know that's not true. So, anyways, there's cards that I still do collect for personal collection, but there might come a time where it's time for me to sell. And let me show you one more card that is a holy grail of mine that I just got last year. And it's this one. This is a Michael. Did I show this last time?
I think you showed this one, but yeah, it's always never
Michael Jordan refractor. And I just posted on my Instagram the difference between the refractor and the base, and there's a lesson like in pictures they can look really similar, so just be careful with that. So anyways, this is a holy grail card, and you know what, I'm probably going to sell this in the future if like his card values blow up like they did last February. So it's just like, all right, what's time for me to sell?
Right. Nice. That's awesome. All right, so we got a question on the chat from Alex, my boy Alex from the Northwest.
Hey.
So he says, how long did it take you to get the entire set? So he's talking about, I think he's talking about the
spellbounds. So these were quick because these are base.
Okay.
The oranges took a little bit longer because they're not as many of them, and then the purples took even longer because there's even less of the purples. They're like numbered out of 49, even less of them. So, I mean, if this is quick, I probably could have done probably a week, and this was probably like 2 to 3 weeks, and this was like I just finished it after like a month and a half, 2 months. But you know,
Nice.
it's just me scouring eBay and making sure I got my finger on the pulse. But I mean, some cards like I was just like, I'm not gonna pay that much. And other cards I was like, oh, I need to get it, so I'm gonna overpay. Things like that.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. So, what other Grail cards? I know you talked a little bit about Grail cards. Do you have any that you're looking for,
Yeah.
or that you have that you want to try to get?
So here's one right here. Let me find it real quick. Where is it?
I don't know.
What the heck? I know it was just here a second ago. I hope I didn't lose it. No, I definitely didn't lose it.
I hope you didn't either.
Here we go. Finally found it. Okay, so this card, this is in a PSA 9. You see? PSA 9.
Yeah.
I'm looking for this in a gem mint condition, whether it's a PSA 10, which is really expensive, or a BGS 9.5, which is much more affordable for me, or an SGC 98. So SGC used to go up to 100. Now they only go up to 10. I like the old labels, the 98, because I'm old. Okay, good. So this is a refractor, and this is it says border. It says refractor here. It's actually a test refractor. The story is,
What does that mean?
Who did I learn it from? It's so Kobe and someone else runs the premiere show. So it's the other gentleman that run
Jay.
Yeah, Jay. There you go. He told me the story behind these because I was telling him I was looking for them. He said that Topps had actually created these as test refractors. Like, oh, let's just create a few and see if we like these. And they ended up not going with these, but somehow they got released into the wild.
Wow.
And I don't know how they got released in the wild. Jay would know. He probably told me, and I forgot. But anyways, I'm looking for this in a gem mint. So that's a Holy Grail card. Another Holy Grail card I'm looking for is Ricky Henderson rookie in a gem mint condition.
Nice.
And then one other Grail card is a Stephen Curry refractor in a gem mint condition. So those are all like pricey cards that I'm just going to work my way up to.
Nice. That's awesome. All right, man. So one last thing that I want to bring up, and this is totally might be kind of random or might be, unrelated, but what are your thoughts? Because I'm seeing on Instagram, I see people post a lot of sports cards, but every once in a while, I'll see people post, a non-sports card, whether it's like celebrity or like Marvel cards or I'm trying to think what are some of the obviously you got wrestling. I know UFC is still sport, wrestling still sport. So if there's any wrestling fans, don't be upset here. But like any of those non-sport items, what do you think about like those Marvel cards or anything like that? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do. If you like it, collect it. And if I don't know the market of that, well, then I'm not going to try to flip it. Now, if you want to, you can learn it. So Marvel, that market has become that collecting Marvel has become so big that there's like a market for it now.
Yeah.
Right. And then when it comes to celebrities, anytime there's a big names, like, I bet Will Smith cards like got really popular recently, right? And it's an unfortunate series of events, but after that, it got really popular. I don't know if Johnny Depp cards are really popular right now. If there's like, I'm trying to think, like someone passed away recently, and then their cards went wild. So I mean, I got one right here. I picked this up at the Hayward show. Yeah, this is her rookie card. All right. There's also a second year card here. Look.
Smash hits. Okay. Wow.
Okay, so this is our rookie card. This is definitely not going to gem. I mean, I can see some things here, but this hasn't even been graded by PSA yet. So yeah, sometimes I'll just do that for funsies.
Yeah.
But I mean, that one's where you collect what you like. Now, if you want to like try to flip it, that's another story. So I do know that Star Wars cards are getting exciting, and people are like wanting to buy them and flip them. Because they're like Star Wars cards in like the 70s too, like the late 70s. Yeah, like Luke Skywalker rookie or Princess Leia rookie or Darth Vader rookie.
Yeah.
And then there was another thing.
Garbage Pail Kids.
No, yeah, not just Garbage Pail Kids, but oh yeah, recently I've seen some Bruce Lee cards around. So I have one right here. Nope. Here it is. So this is a Bruce Lee card by Allen and Ginter, which is like a Topps company.
Yeah, yeah.
You know how I know it's a Topps company? Because it says Topps company right here.
Nice.
So, but there's like cards of him from the 70s. Where, you know, I just scooped one up too. Where is it? I just scooped one up. That's dope. Well, I gotta find it. So I'm not gonna, instead of looking for it, I'm just gonna tell you about it. So there's cards of him for the 70s that people like grade, and whether it's the Green Hornet or his movies, Enter the Dragon, or the big fight with Chuck Norris, or the one with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Right.
Like those, like you see those slapped, and there is a market for them. They're just not quite flippable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Just because, you know, we don't know what's going to make it go up, what's going to make it go down. I feel kind of the same way about Marvel, but, you know, Doctor Strange is about to come out, and so I feel like maybe Doctor Strange rookie cards from the 1990 set might be hot right now. I don't know. So I don't follow those enough to like see them as investment possibilities, and I don't have the bandwidth to follow them enough. So, you know, I just didn't say it right now. I'm not going to do that. So, you know, for me to do this, I'm probably going to sub this. I don't know if I'm going to get authentic or whatnot. This is both PC and also like I'm ready to sell it at my price. So these are cards that I'm happy to hold on to. Like, you know what? I was looking for a Tupac. There's a Tupac, Biggie, and Snoop set, HRX.
Okay.
So I was looking into that. I was looking into that because those were some of my favorite artists growing up.
So Tupac, Britney Spears, it's pretty close.
Close in time frame, yeah. No, if you're talking like music style, a little bit. So, anyways, those are, you know, it's a collect what you like, and I'm a collector at heart. Sounds like you are, and it has to tickle my fancy enough. Like one of my card lessons is on my Instagram is have a PC, and I separated it into 2 posts because at the time the post you could only have it as a minute. So I was going through the different types of things that I collect childhood PC, like my Ken Griffey Juniors that I could never afford as a kid. I can now, yeah. So that's my childhood PC, and then I got my 20s when I was in my 20s PC, which is like Baron Davis. I got my teenager PC, which is like Latrell Sprewell, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then I got my ultra modern PC, like Stephen Curry. I'm chasing a few rainbows. And for people, what that means is of a certain card, they have a lot of parallels. And of these parallels, to chase a rainbow means that you want to get all of the parallels. So here, let me show you one rainbow that I'm chasing right now. It is called Splish Splash.
Nice.
Okay, this is the purple. This is the hollow. This is the orange, numbered out of 39. This is the lime green out of 149. This is the red wave, not numbered. This is the gold wave, not numbered. This one is the blue, numbered out of 85, and this is the pink, numbered out of 25. Shout out the Curry Vault for this one. So I'm a collector at heart, and I'm gonna chase this rainbow. I need the gold out of 10, and then there's a black one of 1, which whoever has it is not giving it up. So you know, those are like things that I'm a collector at heart, and you know, when I complete it, I might sell it, but I might be talking to people, and they're like, "I'll buy it off you." I don't know what's gonna happen. So those are things that I'm gonna collect because I'm a collector at heart. So non-sports, collect what you like. Sports, collect what you like too.
Yeah.
Can I answer Brandon's question?
Yeah. Let's throw it back up there just in case anyone wants to see it.
Why are Star Wars popular? You know, ask all the Star Wars fans because it was a great trilogy, excellent trilogy, really, really well done, and it was actually indirect social commentary about the U.S. involvement in a war in Southeast Asia, namely, what you'll hear in history books is the Vietnam War. But when I go to Vietnam, it's known as the American War. Because, I mean, ain't no other wars in Vietnam.
Got it. Man, so it's already been almost an hour. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. But I wanted to say, first of all, thanks again for joining tonight. Really appreciate it. And then I really just want to say thanks to everyone who joined in the chat. If you guys are with us or if you guys watch the replay, please follow the Card Professor at @the_CardProfessor on Instagram. If you guys want to check it out. Also, he does list off, like we talked about tonight, different lessons, different things that you post on a normal basis. So if you guys want to check that out and just learn more about the hobby, learn more about cards. So thanks again, man.
Wait, let me say something. I want
Yes.
everyone who's watching on YouTube to visit your LCS. When I mean LCS, I mean like, comment, subscribe.
Nice. That's that's funny. All right, man. Well, you have a good one. You take care. And Cdub is out. Take care.